Hola, bonjour, and hello, everybody. You are listening to Worldwide Tea. It is the one and only podcast where every single week we recap every single thing that's going on in the world of international RuPaul's Drag Race spin-off seasons. And as always, I'm Evan Sadi from Pop Matters.
I'm Gregory Elwood from the playlist and sometimes the LA Times.
And y'all, we are deep in it. We're This is a wild day because Greg and I are recording three episodes back to back to back. We're doing our Canadian Meet the Queens because that's coming up on the 20th. We are covering UK as well as what you're listening to right now, Drag Race Espana season 5. And it's weird because Espana and UK started at the same time, all the episodes are in line with each other. We weren't expecting a crossover week like this. Like when we got two great lip syncs in a row, awesome. We got two bad lip syncs in a row, awesome. But two musical episodes back to back. That's wild, Greg. That is insane timing.
And
I must admit.
not only that, and Evan, these did not shoot at the same time.
No.
Coincidentally, sadly, coincidentally, the same sort of type of queen may have gone home on both episodes. So if you don't want to hear about Drag Race UK because you plan on binging it over the holidays and don't want to know who goes home, um, maybe stop listening to this because I will bring it up down the road. But it is a very worrying trend in some ways.
Hmm.
But it's also life. And that's what happens in the Drag Race Echoverse. Queens come, queens go. Some queens die, some queens live. Like there's a lot that happens.
Also,
But more
I would like.
importantly, Evan, please go ahead.
I was about to say. I was about to quote Tia Coffey's roast speech during UK versus the World season 2. Where Marina Summers a lot like life. Life is short.
Yes.
Anyways, no, please go ahead. What were you going to say?
More importantly, before we start the episode, Evan, which Axel hotel do you think the Queens will get as a mini challenge prize this week? We're running out of hotels. We're running
Running
out.
out of
Um,
hotels.
but do you have any thoughts?
Oh, I don't know. Portugal. I don't know. I don't know what we're gonna get this time.
Lisbon,
I'm excited. Lisbon. Yes.
Porto.
Uh,
But more importantly, the Queens come back to the workroom after
yes,
last week's episode. And oh,
and I
please,
think,
Evan, please
oh
go
yeah, I
ahead.
was about to say, I think when they enter the workroom, they say something like, "In this house of love, we believe that all drag is valid, and no queen ever
Oh,
deserves online hate." And as American entertainment journalists, we may not get every reference and always appreciate corrections. And there are some truly great queens who aren't good at drag race, and we love them all the same. Maybe those queens were gonna go home last week and win this week's challenge. I don't know. It's hard to say. But either way, yes, the queens come back into the workroom on season 5, episode 6 of Drag Race España, and all we know is that there are some mixed but largely consensus feelings about Crystal Forever having left the competition, especially from someone who is in the edit a fuck ton this episode, Alexandra Del Raval. I have had so much fucking Alexandra Del Raval in my fucking eyes, Greg. This episode, like, I started just writing down quotes of like things that are happening, and like every single time it's fucking Alexandra Del Raval. And it's just like, God, is something happening with her? Apparently there was. What were your thoughts as the queens came back into the workroom following Crystal's elimination?
uh, I said, I basically did a long laundry list of all the queens who were happy that Crystal was gone. But I
Uh-huh.
will say, there was only one that actually had sympathy for her. And it was also another character in this episode that I wasn't expecting, and that was Daphne Mugler.
Mm-hmm.
She's the only one who seems to have any genuine sympathy for Crystal. And once again, she's the youngest member of the cast, and I'm not going to say that comes back to bite her this week, but it might eventually do that. What did you
Mm-hmm.
think about all this?
Again, Daphne has been such a fascinating character because she has proven to be the most mature person in the room, hands down. Crystal, obviously, I mean, we could talk about how she was treated by production. She definitely did have a chip on her shoulder. She definitely had a I've been doing this for so long kind of thing, which I don't get from Satin Greco. Satin Greco just feels like the entire time she's kind of has a happy to be there energy, like she has
Yes.
all this experience, but she's not like throwing it overwhelmed, but also she's not the most mature one in the room. She occasionally will have little bits of wisdom here and there, but really it's Daphne who's kind of holding everyone down, which is why I am so drawn to and fascinated by her throughout this entire thing. With that said, I didn't have any other notes about them until they come into the room the next day. Did you have any other last minute thoughts?
Only that Alexandra thinks that now that Snatch Game is over, she's set. Like
Hmm.
she's gonna go all the way to the end. Hmm. My only other
Mm.
note before they came into the workroom is, as with every episode, we get a hint of our regular judges, the fantastic, our patron saint Anna Locking, Little
Hmm.
Javi, Big Javi, and then this week's guest judge, La Dani. And
Uh-huh.
I'm just gonna tell you, I am so sorry if this offends anyone who's listening to this podcast, but when they showed this video of Ladani walking down the runway, my first reaction was faggot.
Greg and
He
I have been
was
working about the promotional tool for how we advertise this show. I think we just found our clip right there. Someone clip that.
and by the way, I say that in the most loving way.
Kindest, loving, right? 100%. I'm right there with you.
He was so he
He didn't even
literally
have to
is
wear
like,
giant fake feet in order to make that
no,
happen. It
he
truly is
literally
astonishing.
is just so excited to be there and just flaming out more than any queen in drag. And I'm just loving it. And then later on, I actually really enjoyed him as a guest judge because he's just wild a little bit. But anyway, I just had to say that. Apologies for anyone who was offended. And clearly, Ladani, we say that in a
With
place of
love.
love and respect.
Uh-huh.
And you are hilarious. But um, what I did enjoy when they also walked in was that Margarita had a new sort of entrance line. She said you can smell fear in the air, which I'll take better than another day in the workroom. So
Mhm.
that was sort of interesting. And also we found out a couple things. The other big thing that was maybe a hint the editors were trying to tell us is Nick says she is so fucking tired of being in the bottom. That's called editing,
Yes.
and might tease something down the road. But what did you think, Evan?
I did like to note that a couple things. First off, we did note that Alexandra says, "I'm the lip sync assassin," which a lot of people said you only won one lip sync, which is true. But that was, I thought, very apt to indicate. But also, the other thing was Farron has apparently always been on the top, or someone indicates that. I'm just like, that's actually not true
Not
whatsoever.
true.
She has been down, so she's been in the top a decent amount, but not like the entire time. But otherwise, I didn't have anything left until our wonderful host decided to walk in with some nice Frankenstein shoes. I thought that was worth highlighting. That Supreme is just in the just giant stompers in this pretty okay suit. Nothing else crazy around that. Also, I quick trivia, Greg. What did Alexandra's shirt say this episode?
Oh, I didn't even recognize. What did it say?
It said, "Tell your dad to stop calling me."
Uh, she wishes my
Thank
dad
you,
called her.
you absolute angel. Right.
Um, but we have a mini challenge
Hmm.
sponsored by season sponsor Crash Cosmetics. And you know
Hmm.
what? This was sort of fun. The queens
Yeah.
had to use, they had I think 3 or 4 products in front of them. They could
Correct.
only use one of them
One.
to
Hmm.
do their makeup in 5 minutes. And after that 5 minutes happened, Supreme sort of gave them a little gift where they then got, they could steal a different product from
Hmm.
another queen and had 1 more minute to do it. And I was sort of I was like, I wrote this down to ask you, who are the real makeup artists here? Because some of them scared the living shit out of me, and some of them were,
are are you saying that Denebola Murnau's I left my super villain mask on, here's my tan line as everything else is red look didn't do it for you? Or is that what you're saying? Sorry,
I mean, I thought Satin Greco's first time in drag, drunk off my ass makeup was like wild.
It was so bad, Greg. Greg, it was so bad. Oh my fucking God.
But who is the winner? Who is the winner? Who, by the way, was
The only
genuinely
person who
impressive.
fucking did it right, Jesus Christ, is Daphne Mugler, Greg, and she looks so good. She looks so
Yeah,
good. I was this multicolor thing that she was able to achieve with a single product, like, girl, incredible, stunning.
right. I have no idea how she did it. But sadly, she did not win a trip to an Axel hotel. Not this week.
Not this time.
Um, but she got money, I think, and she also got something really much more important. She got to pick the the roles for the musical. They're not calling it a musical, they call it a musical, which I
Right.
thought was interesting. Um, and this week's, and they're, by the way, the Queens are super excited about this week when the title of the musical is revealed. Um, do you know how to pronounce this correctly, or should I give it a?
I said, Vas a volver loca is how I tried to go with it, which is, I guess, more of a you drive me crazy kind of vibe, or at least the sense I did. Yeah,
It
if you
is,
have better
except
context, please.
no,
Yeah.
no, no, you got it right. It's you're going to make me. Lorca does not mean crazy. Lorca is a very, it's Fernando Garcia Lorca. He's a Spanish poet and playwright who is known for writing a certain type of many characters, famous sort of dramatic characters in Spanish
Hmm.
literature and plays and whatever. So the Lorca was a play on the Loca, and that's why the name is. But
Got it.
they know who he is and they know who these characters are, even though I am guessing you and I did not know who these archetypes were whatsoever. Um,
Nope.
but the queens are like, once again, we have a talking head from Alexandra, and she is very confident because she sings and dances in her show. She's going to be good at this. She's
Hmm.
convinced. But Evan, any other takes as they sort of whittle their way into uh, picking what roles they want to play with Daphne?
That's really again, it's kind of weird again doing these two episodes in parallel with each other because there
Yeah.
were some similarities between them, and most critically, I think one of the biggest similarities was one queen being upset that she didn't get all the role that she wanted, and kind of turning it into a thing, which on UK kind of took a weird pivot, I'll be honest. But in
Hmm.
this season was just kind of a people for the most part got over it. Very specifically though, Daphne notes that she gave the maid role to Nyx as a way to potentially get her out of the competition because she didn't think that she was worthy of it or was going to be able to do anything strong, make a strong choice with it. So I thought that was a little bit more deceptiveness than we've seen from her so far at this point.
And this is also in some ways, it was also we need to know that role Farron really wanted. And
Hmm.
she Daphne purposely did not give it to Farron because Farron screwed over Daphne over something she wanted to do, I think, in one of the acting challenges, if I'm correct.
Hmm.
So
Right.
it was payback from Daphne. And they do have a talking head of Satin Grecho saying, "See, isn't Daphne cunning?" Satin is not Satin is a little suspicious of Daphne. She's not I don't believe she thinks Daphne's a little angel. She thinks
Hmm.
she realizes how smart she is in the room and she's paying
Hmm.
attention. Um,
Absolutely.
Also interesting though is Luca says that they got the dullest role ever and are now upset that they didn't stand their ground over their original choices. And I thought that was really interesting because I thought this whole episode, Luca was a little like just hanging around, like didn't seem to be worried about going home, didn't seem
Right.
like concerned about I need to get a win this week. Just sort of like, I'm here. Like you guys all have
Yeah.
fun. Like, what do I need to do? So I thought that was interesting.
I fully agree. And it was kind of weird because like these roles are all not like they're kind of the same. Like there's not like a whole lot of delineation you have to get into. So it was kind of a weird thing. And again, it's also like, y'all, it's a drag musical. Oh, I didn't get the role I wanted. You're a fucking drag queen. You can turn it into something stupid pretty damn easily. That's with some of these challenges, we'll get into the critiques a little bit later on, but like I did not fully agree with that. I did not understand her stance. She's doing great, whatever.
And I do have to say, as the Queens end up going out on stage and working with Carmelo Seguro, who's the artistic, by the way, he's literally given the title artistic director. Like that's we've never had this before, I don't think, on a drag race season. I'm
Yeah.
sort of impressed. He must have a resume where his like, his credits have to be artistic director. Um, but as they come out, I thought this was really interesting about how so many of the queens helped the editors sort of play with the storylines.
Uh-huh.
Because as we would say, Farron is bitter boots happy that Nyx is really struggling in rehearsals over a role she really wanted. And I gotta say, I didn't think this was like play acting by Nyx. Like Nyx did not seem in any way ready to do this role. So, did you think Nyx was going to be able to pull this off after watching rehearsals?
Fuck no. I mean, everything that had been happening to the season at this point was pointing directly to Nyx's downfall this episode. So like that's what I was ready for. That's what I was prepared for. That's what the edit was absolutely giving me.
Um, any other takes that you had from the rehearsals? My only other thing was that they were really doing their best to show that Alexandra could not match the choreography and timing of the other queens, which supposed to be a dancer, so that was a little surprising.
Hmm.
But that was the only other thing I caught. Anything else you noticed?
Yeah, no, I just had a quick conversation about what Alexandra talks about in the workroom the next day, but nothing else really from rehearsal. They really blew through this pretty quickly because there's a
They
lot of
did.
musical to get through. Yeah.
What happened in the workroom the next day that I am forgetting?
While they were doing their makeup for the musical, I mean, everyone's excited about it, but Alexandra specifically talked about how she grew up in a home where her mom had used cocaine and had shattered the family dynamic. And so she was kind of having to be in a position where she was the one that was looking after people, but also this is what drugs can do to a family. And that she was, her story was universal to several others as well. Uh, and it's the kind of thing where, like, again, I love that the show will always platform these issues, that we can hear about trans experiences, that we can hear about POC experiences in a way that is fascinating and is presented in such an accessible format. However, the only thing I will say is that, god damn, they are giving Alexandra all the effing oxygen on this edit, this episode. It is surprising. And again, it's the kind of thing where at this point, now that Crystal, you have to think about this also, this is a TV show. They have to make narratives and whatnot. With Crystal being gone, she was such an instigator for so many things. What storylines do we have now? Because there's not really a lot. There's no like super firm alliances between people at this point. So it's just kind of
Yeah.
a. And right now, the only storyline is basically people don't like Nyx and want Nyx to go home. That's kind of it. Am I missing anything?
I think some people don't like Nyx. I don't think that's a universal thought
Hmm.
by most of the cast. I think the most of the other queens think that Nyx has been struggling and seems ready to go home because based on her track record. Um, I do think that Alexandra is giving the producers unintentionally, by the way. I don't think this is strategic in any way. Everything they want, and that helps them try to get through. Because remember, we're only got 5 more episodes, so they need some storylines and drama till they sort of get to the inevitable like top four, top three, like
Hmm.
the drama brings itself because everyone is finally wants to win. But I will say, Violet Chachki, your life is flashing before your eyes because Alexander Rapal, who's been doing drag for 8 years, got inspired by seeing you on TV for the first time. So, Violet, if you were feeling young and fertile today, Alexandra is here to remind you that no, you are an old drag queen.
Hmm. Also, if you're feeling anything at all, Violet Chachki, which is always a question, don't worry because in UK, someone decides to lift one of your most iconic looks as well for one of their looks. So it is Violet Chachki fest over here. What, Greg? What was that? What
And
was
you know
that?
what? And you know what? And you know what? You know what, Kennedy and Ginger? That's why Violet won. That's why she won. Even though I still thought at the time Ginger should have won that season.
Yeah,
But the
the
right
one and
choice was
only.
made.
Yeah.
Unlike Crystal Versace. Uh, but um it's time to go to the runway. And last week, Evan, you had some thoughts about
Hmm.
Supreme's
Yep.
um proportions. Perhaps that's the best way of saying it. What
Yep.
did you think of her look this week? How would you describe it?
Here's how I describe it. Let's see. Trying to do a black flower couture dress, and then you lose the design challenge. That's how I feel about this look. What the fuck is happening, Greg? We've had, I think by our counts, one, maybe two good Supreme Deluxe looks on this runway. This is not one of them. This was pooped out of Zaldi's ass in some other garbage bin. It was so bad, Greg. I did not like it, unless you somehow inexplicably did, in which case I still don't like
I think if Zaldi said that you put his name anywhere near this dress, he would be horrified. Um, I, I, you know what it's giving me? It is giving me a queen who is not happy. You know what? I'm not going to project and guess, but I think Supreme was going through something at the time with her drag, and I'm hoping when they shoot the next season, that things are better. But I will
Mhm.
say they shot the live finale for season. Wait, this is season 5, right?
Yes,
They
season
shot the
four.
finale for season 4 after they had finished this.
Hmm.
So, which was the Coco versus
Hmm.
what's her name? And
The
Supreme
Belavanti.
looked
Yeah.
great there. So
Hmm.
I am hoping that she will get through this journey on this season and be back to the Supreme we love and enjoy. And maybe she went to the gym like
Do we
over the
do
past
we
year.
do we know if there's going to be a live finale this season? Has that been confirmed at
It
all?
is still unclear. And in
Oh,
fact, if they're
interesting.
going, the rumor is that they shot it that they could do it either way. So I don't know what that means, but I think we will know sooner rather than later. But again, it would not be till the first week of December. So we're just in the first week of November. So it feels like something they'll announce in the next 10 days or so, whether they're going to
Yeah.
to do that. But that was the rumor that it was so successful last year that they would do it again. Um, but uh, listen, it feels as though everyone's meant to be dressed on the panel as they're going to a funeral. And a Locking is ready to go
Because
for the
they're killing this
funeral.
challenge, Greg.
Uh, uh, a Supreme is in a big black flower. I don't think the hobbies got that memo.
Yep.
One of them looks like they're just ready to get coffee, and the other one looks like they're ready to go to High Tops in Silver Lake.
And you don't
Um,
have to say anything. I know which one is who by that description alone.
but more importantly, Anna's hair, incroyable. Like
Yeah.
the bow hair, like stunning. She never fails. Um, Anyway, the musical starts, and all I wrote in all caps is what an entrance, what an artistic beginning to
Hmm.
this musical. I don't know any other franchise, maybe France, that could pull this off. That was so
Hmm.
cool. How would you
Yeah.
describe it?
It's like a bunch of people gathered together. They all have funeral veils on, but also they're kind of dancing. They're all moving as a collective unit. It's very like World of Dance, so you think you can dance. Like it feels like it's like so stupid to say, but it feels like a real number. And I think you compare that to what we had over in UK this week, and it feels like they're putting in just a little bit more pump and effort into what they're doing. That said, I do need to call out the thing that I'm going to keep calling out until we get it fixed. I'm not sure what the reason is. But World of Wonder, when people are watching with subtitles on here, for some reason, when the
Mm-hmm.
subtitles don't come through on the songs, it's really fucking annoying. Both with the lip syncs as well as the musical. I don't know if it's a licensing thing. I don't know what's up with that, but it's super upsetting because it's a lot harder for us English language people, or I'm sure it's true in other languages too for translation. It's a lot harder to follow along, and it's kind of upsetting. So that's how I just wanted to get that out there, Gregory.
Yes, so yeah, Evan and I are not fluent in Spanish, so if we make judgments or opinions based on some of these performances, we are doing it based on how they are projecting, how they are singing, how they're dancing, and if we do not get, for example, some of the connotations they may make with certain words, we do not have the translations to these songs. So we are sort
Right.
of flying blind in some ways, and it is generally hard to critique. And I actually ended watching this thinking like, I'm not really sure who's in the top or the bottom. I didn't think any of them were disastrous. But again, I don't have the translation, so I can't see where they screwed up or not. But what I did think was interesting initially was as Poncia, one of the main characters, I thought Nyx's makeup was a choice. And I was very worried about her from the beginning. And then
I didn't
also,
recognize her at first. I did not
yeah.
recognize her. She was that deep in the makeup, and I was actually very impressed.
Well, I know she's one of the tallest members of the cast, so I was pretty
Hmm.
sure it was her. I didn't recognize Margarita, to be honest. Like that was like wild.
Same, same.
But the one thing I'll say is I I was sort of surprised initially. It was a very long musical where it was going in terms of Nyx because she wasn't really singing in the first song. She was more
Hmm.
sing speaking, and the other queens were actually singing. We should note that this was a musical in the sense that these queens clearly pre-recorded all these songs. They didn't
Correct.
sing
Thank
them
you.
live on stage,
Even
which
though they
I'm
had
not.
mics on their thing,
Yes.
right? Yeah.
But so it's still their voices, so that was interesting. And I did notice that Laka and Farron have great singing voices, like really good. I thought that was impressive. And then my other biggest takeaway from the entire thing was Poopy Poison showed up. I'm sorry, that was Satin Greco, and she stole the show, and in a role that she potentially might not have stolen the attention of the show if it had been with another queen. But that was my takeaways. What were yours takeaways from this very long musical?
The thing, we've had more insufferable musicals. Let's be real with
True.
ourselves here. And I thought that Laka, Denebola, Alexandra, I thought their number was actually pretty good for the most part. If anything, if I'm being fully candid here, because that's what we do here on Worldwide T, Greg,
Hmm.
Daphne kind of faded in the background for me this entire musical. I did feel like she had her number, which was pretty good, but like any other number, she just was paint on the wall. I liked Denebola. I thought she was giving so much
I
good
thought
face. I thought she was giving so much good energy. Nyx, again, genuinely surprised me, absolutely. And even her number with Margarita, I thought was pretty good too. Satin, it's weird because like it was a character choice, and I just that particular face, that particular mug, that particular man look-ish thing that she's giving us, the grandma, it didn't read to me in the way that I thought it was going to. Like I didn't enjoy her in this musical as much just because I'm not sure if it was the look or the energy. The whole time she just felt out of place. And I'm not sure if that was purely a character choice or if that's just how I interpreted it, but I thought there were other people who did stronger in the challenge personally.
my interpretation of it, based on the judging, is that she was doing specific references that you or I may not know,
Mm-hmm.
to Lorca, and
Mm-hmm.
that character or a character like that in Lorca's musicals, and that's why, or plays, and that's why they loved it so much because of how she interpreted it. My take is I have to agree with you. I wrote after while watching the episode that Denim Bola is better than I would have thought. Like I thought she was
Yeah,
way better.
way
Um,
better.
and I thought could have been judged on a curve considering they do that for many queens. But I did have to say I thought I wrote the same thing. Daphne is a very good performer, but her singing voice is not good at all. Like it
Right.
was lacking, and I think she did herself a disservice by giving herself a character that had a solo number with singing. And I feel like if
Hmm.
you are not a good singer, you have a better shot of getting by being in a group like Farron, Alexandra, and Denambola were, where they were basically like all together in the same number, hoping you can skirt by.
Yeah,
Um,
I thought she would have been better as a croc destroyer personally. That's just me.
she might have.
She might
Actually, you
have.
know what? She would have been friggin' great as a Grog Destroyer.
Yeah.
That's a Drag Race UK reference for those of you who are not watching the
You can
great
hear our
season.
coverage
Yes, here
of
our
that
coverage
separately.
on Worldwide T. And again, I left this episode, this part of the episode I wrote down. I have no idea who's toppers bottoms. I just didn't know. I had no
Same.
clue.
Absolutely same. Like for me, like when I finished watching, I'm like, well, I thought Nyx did good, but then again, I know how they feel about Nyx. Like I truly, there was no way. Like for me, the biggest takeaways was like I was surprised by Nyx. Margarita is always going to bring it, and I don't like her more and more every week, and I still can't deny she's a very good performer. And Denabola popped for me when she was doing the group work. I thought it was fantastic.
So
But
weird.
yeah, otherwise pretty good, pretty good.
Yep. But category is, assuming the queens pay attention to the prompt, blood weddings.
Blood
Blood weddings. And
weddings.
before we go down them, Evan, I have to say it's been a long time since I have seen a disconnect potentially from what the actual prompt was on a Espana season to what the queens did. And I'm wondering, and by the way, there is a graphic in English and like that is clear that this was blood weddings. This
Blood
wasn't just
wedding.
Supreme saying it like in an edit later on down the road.
Mm-hmm.
Like this was meant to be what it is, and you would never have gotten this from most of these queens.
At all.
Up next, first, Alexandra Duraval. Sheep did the prompt. It is a we've seen this dress before though. It
Yep.
is like veins of redness
Hmm.
going down a gown. Um, and I wrote I hated it. I thought it was super
Thank
familiar,
you.
and the lower
Thank
part of
you.
the gown is I wrote eh. But to be honest, she still did the
Did
prompt
mhm.
more than anybody else. Any other thoughts on this ensemble?
What the fuck was that monocle thing on her head too? I
Yeah.
just that was the thing that like really took me out more than anything else. This absolute useless accessory that is added to her face that didn't need to be there. Yeah, overall, just she had a good week last week, and hopefully that'll be the last that we hear in a little bit.
So,
We'll see.
and again, we are coming off one of the better runway. By the way, a
Hmm.
franchise that always has great runways. One of the
Hmm.
best of the season, last week. And the Satin Grecho comes out, and in caps I wrote drag closet. She is wearing a a gown which has a white moon that
Mm-hmm.
frames her face, which is very
Mm-hmm.
pretty. I I never in a million years would write blood wedding like in my first 100 guesses. Like what am I missing here?
You're doing fine, Greg. You're not missing anything because what the fuck is this? And there's a couple of people, actually the one right after this too,
Yeah.
is just like Blood Wedding. Very clear reference as to what this is. I would not get this. I would say Moon Knight. I would say Fairy. I would say so many
Yeah.
other things that aren't Moon Wedding, and it just looked costumey. The whole thing fucking looked costumey. I did not like it. I really didn't.
I thought there were worse costumey ones, but this definitely did. But I liked the ensemble. I just was like, this doesn't meet the
At
prompt.
the prompt, evidently.
Speaking of one that sort of met the prompt, but wasn't as great as you'd hope for her, as Denebola, it's a, in theory, burned bride look. But not sure it completely works because and it may have been the lighting on stage, but they do talk about it in critiques. It's this wedding dress and it's covered in like orange stains, but it looks more like chemical burn than like a
Right. It looks like
fire
it was dragged
burn.
through the sewer more than
Yeah.
anything else. Like it just didn't give blood wedding at all. And like if you want to look at it as like an aged thing, it had mold on it, like it kind of like got deteriorated that way, maybe. But again, not blood wedding necessarily. Like close but not in the ballpark, I would say in that sense.
Up next, and listen, I have not been a fan of Nyx, but I will give her credit. She did the prompt. She came out in this red dress with a super high uh uh what is it, leg line? What is it when you show your
Like a like oh yeah, just like the slit, super
the
high leg
slit,
slit.
super high
Yeah.
slit. So and it looks sexy and it was red and it was she did the prompt. And I also thought it was the sexiest she's looked in the entire season.
And also, there were burn marks, there were pock marks all over the dress, and they were all bedazzled. They all had little glistening red parts on every single part of the burn, which is exactly what you fucking want to see in a goddamn drag dress. She nailed it. Is this like the greatest look of all time? No. She
No.
absolutely nailed the prompt more than half the queens here.
Uh, Understatement.
Mm-hmm.
Up next is Margarita in a Grand
Greg,
Dame
Greg,
bride dress.
Gregory, what are we doing? Why is she in a flower dress and her boobs are hanging out of the flower? Why? It does. Blood wedding, blood wedding, blood wedding. Bed wedding, more like it. Oh my God, I hated this. I did not like this for the
I
prompt.
thought this was close to an off the rack nice wedding dress that she found. Also,
Oh,
what is with this Drag Race Holland hair from
girl,
2021
Vivaldi
Euro?
strikes again.
I come on, girl, Marguerite. This runway felt like the queen saw the list of prompts and said, "Oh, this is the one I have to spend the least amount of time on because it
Yeah,
will be so easy to do."
I
And
could
that
phone
always
this
comes.
in. Yeah,
Speaking of phoning it in, Laka is up next, and I have to say this is her most Brooklyn drag look of the season. She is
girl,
wearing an
girl.
off the rack wedding dress, showing her hairy chest. I again not blood wedding in any
At
way.
all, at
Like,
all. It does. It's actually, you know what? The closest parallel that I have to it is Darien Lake season six, when there was like that. There's that dress that she had very similarly, where she had just jewels that were just attached to it,
mhm.
but there is no pleating, there is no curves, there's no design. It's just flat fabric, and because you're attaching jewelry to flat fabric, it just pulls it down. So there's just kind of this weird sagging thing on here, and it's just like, what are we doing? Like the thing is that like in Blood Wedding, she did attempt because if you saw on her face, she had like a little
Oh,
like, oh, here's a little bit of blood here. There's a little bit of like a pearl coming out of my face, but like it was so minimal that you could barely catch that detail until they did a zoom in. Like it was so close, but also it's so far at the same time. Like it was more in universe than half the things, but still not a hit.
and I have to say there has got to, I hope we find out soon. Again, the episode just dropped today about what happened because Laka's a super like smart queen. Like
Hmm.
she is not. She's like every runway has been like what the prompt has been. Like this is
Hmm.
very strange for her, which makes me think how they worded it to the queens was confusing, and that
Yes.
for that to happen in the sixth season of the show, counting All Stars, is very wild. Um,
Hmm.
Up next, though, is Farron, and I gotta say, I will give her credit. She changed her mug for this. It did not
Yes, she
look
did.
like the same weirdish, like Trixie Mattel sort of like ancestry look that she's been doing. And it was uh I wrote Mina. I don't know why I meant Mina, but it's something mean. I don't know what I meant. I think I miswrote, but it was sort of Count Dracula-ish, like in a way. Um, Oh no, she said that. She said it's Mina meets Count Dracula. And I think Mina meaning the 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 bride from the movie Dracula. I'm sort of confused. I don't know.
Yeah, I get definitely she was trying to go for. I mean, I wrote down Elvira-esque because like it was going very
Ah,
much Bride of Dracula. It was still very much going for the big bouffant kind of thing with the wig and the design in it. It was solid. She says that it's important to her because it was brought to her, or at least partially made by her drag mother, which she has a great part. We've learned that
okay.
later on during the critiques. But overall, yes, Farron kind of grading at this point, but still, this was solid. This was good.
And then, listen, I have been a fan of hers, and you're a
Love
fan
her.
of Daphne.
Love her.
What on earth is this? It's a fine runway. She's doing Mugler inspired motorcycle handlebars, which has been done by many queens, and they're just like handlebars on a corset. She looks good. This isn't giving wedding, let alone
Right.
even like
At
blood
all.
wedding. Like, and she's can't even sell it in the voiceover. Like she won't admit she's done the wrong thing, but just wild.
Drag closet, yum.
Yes.
It's just the a girl. I felt bad for her. I knew this wasn't going to be her week, or at least I thought it wasn't going to be her week.
So before they announce their first reactions to the Queen's performance in Runway, Supreme makes it clear that no one really slipped up in the musical. So it's going to be one of those weeks where they're going to be, this is our words, not hers, sort
Hmm.
of like picking at straws to sort of like, figure out who's the worst here. But we have two safe queens, and I was sort of surprised. Uh,
So
who
surprised.
who were the safe queens, Evan?
That would of course been Daphne, which and I don't know where you're standing on this, but I thought she should have been low. I thought she should have been low on this one,
Mm-hmm.
which I kind of felt about. And then the only other one was wait, who was the other one? Was it Margarita? Yeah,
Margarita.
yeah.
I have to be honest, I thought Daphne should have been low and that Denim Bola should have been safe.
Yeah, yeah, 100%
Especially
agree. 100%
plus
agree.
the runway, like she got it closer than any of the ones. Um, so the runway, the critiques were wild.
Hmm.
Um, I feel like we should go through them as quickly as we can. Uh, for Please interrupt me if you have any other thoughts or memories. But on Alexandra, they basically said that she didn't pop enough. Anna loves the look. Says it's where fashion meets art. Again, she's one of the few who did the prompt. But Supreme makes it clear that her performance was chaotic and confusing. I guess I couldn't really tell. Like, sure. Any other thoughts
Hmm.
on those critiques?
No, not really.
So Satin, uh, the Javis loved her. Little Javi says she was incredible in the challenge, very Lorca-like. Again, she's doing what the style of this playwright is, which is probably a cultural
Hmm.
reference that the two of us don't get.
Hmm.
And even says, "Well, it's your night." I was like,
Hmm.
"Whoa." Anna loves the look somehow. I'm like, Anna, girl, what are you doing? Like, says she's gone from a grandmother, which she was in the musical, to the sophisticated look. And then we have this moment where
Hmm.
Ladani, who I'm
Hmm.
still not sure who they are. I don't know if they're a social influencer or an actor or just a fag on this. Which, listen, if you can walk on set and be a guest judge on Drag Race Espana because you have 50,000 followers, bless, um,
Bless.
gets emotional,
Hmm.
super emotional.
Super emotional. Yeah.
Talking to
Tears.
Satine because as a little gay boy, they saw them perform in person and it meant so much to them. And it's a dream come true to be on a panel judging them. And Satin is very humble about it. And all I would be thinking is if I were Satin Greco, I'd be like, wait a minute. you are how old and you are judging my drag, my 39-year-old ass on
Uh-huh.
drag I've been doing for 2 decades.
Uh-huh.
Did you have any other thoughts of Ladani's emotional breakdown over Sutton Greco?
No, I just wanted to go on stage and give Satin Greco a hug and a kiss and encourage her even further. But outside of that, no, I think we're pretty good.
Do you know what I want so bad? I want someone to either do a drawing for like a t-shirt of the hobbies
Yeah.
going and hugging, or I want a photo of it. I will buy that merch. Like if
Yeah.
someone does that merch, I will literally buy it.
Worldwide T Nation, we're relying on you.
Yes,
Let
we're
us know.
relying on you.
worldwideteapodcast@gmail.com. Send us your designs for the
Listen,
hot, hot
my
hobby
for
hugging merch.
Christmas, send us t-shirts. We want that
Oh my
on a
god.
t-shirt for Christmas.
Oh my god. I want that nothing more of this world. Oh my god, yes.
Um, Denim Bola. Okay, so this was strange. Big
Hmm.
Javi thinks she didn't stand out enough in the
Hmm.
performance, and then the panel can't seem to agree if her dress is rusted or oxidized blood. Anna projects a lot of what she thinks the dress means, and then like she
Yes.
goes to this whole ramble of like the thoughts behind it and whatever. And I was like, okay. I mean, I love her for it, but Ian Denimbola is looking at her like that's not what I thought. Any other thoughts, the critiques on Denimbola?
So here's I've been preparing for this exact moment, Greg, for a little bit, because truth be told, it's a thing where it's like this is just a common critique that what Calvo said to her was basically like, here's someone like, they're trying to take away the spirit of your man. There's all these different conflicts going on. I felt like you could have highlighted that a little bit better in your performance. And for me, it just kind of feels like kind of what we go through with all of these critiques, especially when it comes to a Rusical or any like, RDR Live or whatever. It's just like you got to think about the emotional journey of what Dr. Fart Muncher has to go through. I really don't know if you really like it always feels that way too, where it's just like this stupid thing that we made up for this one purpose here. I don't know
Yeah,
if I really connected with your emotional journey. It's like, bitch, she's a drag queen. Like this, it's stupid. Did she sell it? I thought she did. And it's the kind of
yeah.
thing where it's like this emotional journey shit is always just, did they hit it or did they not hit it? And I thought for me, what was reading to the screen for me was she was hitting it every shot, every scene, even the group shot. She's giving face. Her little contacts are really making her stand out. I thought she did a phenomenal job, but I think they were almost looking for an excuse to send her home at this point, if I'm being fully candid.
Which was really weird to me because she's been killing it for most of the
She
season, and
won! Right,
didn't
exactly,
I don't
yes.
know why you'd want to send her versus other queens. So that was a little weird. But listen, for Nyx, she was up next, and all you need to know is I think it was either Anna or Supreme said, "What a day, darling." And little Javi said she made the role her own. I knew she was either high or gonna win, like the second this all happened. And to be honest, she was great. I mean, I'm not a fan of Nyx, but I thought out of all the queens, she definitely stood out, and her runway was the prompt, and that matters. Um, Laka is up next, and this was really strange because I have to tell you, when I watched Laka in this, she felt one of the most polished and professional performers out of all of it. She
Mhm.
wasn't hogging the spotlight. She was on her marks. She sang great. I did not think she was supposed to do anything she did not do. And the Javis, were like, we want you to get messy. What? Like, why? And Little Javi wanted more energy. That wasn't what her role was. Again, this was one where I felt like they wanted to sort of poke her for down the
Mhm.
road. Um, and it just seemed weird to me. I thought she was safe at worst. Or maybe that's what she should have been. I never in a million years thought she was low, unless it's
And
because of this runway.
right, but also, correct me if I'm wrong. Did she not get a fucking ova on this runway too?
No,
Was I crazy? No, was I crazy? Did I not see a little ova that was given at the very? Maybe it was for something
she
else,
didn't
but
say, I don't think this week Anna ever used the word ova. She may
okay,
have done the fingers, but I don't think that's a true ova unless she says ova. So
okay.
maybe it was a half
Chat,
ova.
let us know
Chat,
below.
let
If
us
you drop
know.
drops, yeah, follow some comments. So we
Yeah.
watch a lot of Drag Race, y'all. So there's
And
slight details that might,
it should
yeah,
not have been an ova if that was what, yeah.
game
Um,
over. Yeah.
Game over. And then Farron, they loved. They said she was a 10 out of 10 performer. I did not see any of it. I forgot she
At
was on stage.
all, at
I
all, Mama.
uh and
No.
Anna loves the look, and this makes Farron cry because she made the entire look herself. Every hem, everywhere you look, there's a hem. She's super happy, and clearly Farron will also be in the top. Uh, Evan, any other thoughts on the critiques before we go back to a workroom where Daphne is frustrated?
Yeah, no, they're just fucking wrong. Anyway, so let's they go back to the workroom. And yes, Daphne is very much in her feels. I think she's still very much doing well in the competition. She just feels overlooked or just unable to give the judges specifically what they're looking for.
This is the first time where I was like, okay, the 22-year-old is popping out,
A little
or
bit.
21-year-old, a little bit. Like, she really wanted to win, and she thought she set herself up to win, and she is clearly frustrated by like how her scheming did not work. Uh, and Anyway, the queens come back in, and Denimbola is likely in the bottom, and she the other queens are trying to explain sort of to her why she might be. Laka doesn't understand why she was too perfect and not messy enough. They're all sort of like surprised by the critiques. Outside of Nyx, they think that Nyx and
Hmm.
Satin are going to do well. Um,
Hmm.
I didn't feel after the last couple weeks, this was sort of like the most tame workroom we'd had in a while.
I mean, Denebola does kind of have a bit of a breakdown because they feel like they are seeing the writing on the wall,
Oh,
so they get very emotional, and completely understandable too. So, I very much empathize with them in that moment. But yeah, otherwise, without Crystal here, it's a lot less dramatic. I'll say that much. So
very.
yeah.
Speaking of Crystal, the question does
Hmm.
come up. Who did Crystal leave her heart for? And will it matter? Dun dun dun! Back on the workroom stage, sorry, on the runway stage, Evan, we have three top queens. Can you name them? And can you say who is the winner of the week?
Well, it is Satin, it is Nyx, and it is Ferran, and they go and name each one as if any of them could potentially do it. It is motherfucking Nyx who pulls it out of the game, who wins, and I was pleasantly surprised by it, but also I agree. Like
Yeah,
it was such a lovely little redemptive moment for her. It's like for after hanging on by her teeth as much as she had, it was just nice to see. She absolutely owned the stage, and I was kind of proud of her. Like it's the kind of stuff that you want to see on Drag Race. It was a good moment.
it was a Poseidon moment. Like you just can't say.
Let's not compare Nyx to fucking Poseidon Drag from Brazil season two. We've endured it. Not 2025's been a long
It's
year.
been a long year.
Gregory, come on, let's not do that to
But
ourselves.
sadly, Nyx does win 2,500 euros, which is
Sadly.
money. That's no, wait. That's money. She gets a colorful rainbow jewelry set from Astor Labs, which I guess she can wear at Pride because I don't know when else
It's
she's gonna
because it
wear
has
this.
it's pretty single purpose,
Single
right?
purpose, but no Axel hotel strip. Oh, no hotel
Yeah.
strip. Poor Nyx.
Remember, if it
And
doesn't shine, it's not Astor Labs.
but the editors make sure that when Nyx is announced, that we see that Daphne behind her on the stage is not thrilled.
Hmm.
Her scheming did not work. I wonder if this will come back to bite any of them. Dun dun dun. But we have three queens in the bottom. It is Denimbola, Laka, and Alexandria. And we discover who Crystal left her heart to. And who did she leave it to, Evan?
So she left it to Satin Greco. So they make her come out on the middle of the stage. And like, hey, you got half a heart. Oh, that's cool. What a nice gesture. It's a half heart, so I can't fucking do anything with it. You're right. Why don't you go to the back of the stage again? Like, cool. Just love the theater of it
Okay.
all. Thank you so much for that. So
Uh,
insane.
you know what?
Yes.
Satin got her steps in today on
Yeah.
but so then it's up to the judges. And Laka is safe. But let me tell you, she was ready, as she says in
Hmm.
confessional. She
Yes,
was
she
ready to do this.
does. Yes.
She was ready. She was ready in her silky ganache moment. And it is Alexandria versus Denimbola. And it is to a song which I will horribly pronounce. Yo tengo un novio by Lola Indingo and La Toile. Did I pronounce that right? Or
I pronounced Lazawi is what I saw on there, but yeah, Yo
oh,
tengo un
Lazawi.
novio. I Have a Boyfriend. So
Ah,
it is a upbeat little kind of bouncy, sassy little track. It's a really fun song. I'm not
it
gonna lie.
is.
I'm really glad they did it there. Oh, Greg, this lip sync was hard. This lip sync was
I
hard
know.
because I do think they both did a pretty good job. But listen, I don't have blinders on my eyes. I can see through time on here. One queen did actively do better. Although at one point, it did look like her wig was getting a little shaky or a little bit
It
wobbly or a
did.
little bit something that I was a little bit
Mm-hmm.
unsure about. I mean, we remember last week when it completely
Yeah.
came off. But yeah, it was a fun lip sync. I did think Dinabola really brought something to it, but I think it was pretty obvious who won.
I thought Alexandria bodied her, and
Yeah.
I thought Denimbola did better than I thought. I thought
Yeah.
she was impressive in certain ways, and actually she ended it better than Alexandra. Sort of like got to the end and like had to sort of run out of like ideas.
Hmm.
But Alexandra really conveyed the tone of the song, and she sort of projected it much better than Denimbola. And I don't know what is Denimbola's like runway in terms of like what her style is and sort of lip sync she does, and this may not have been it.
Hmm.
So anyway, sadly, Alexandra is safe. And by the way, she is not even surprised. She's like, of course I'm safe. I'm going
Right.
to stand in the back of the stage. And everyone is very emotional over Denimbola leaving. Denimbola is
Super
emotional.
deeply, insanely. Yes.
Anna is upset. Daphne is upset. Nyx is upset. Theron is upset. All behind her.
Hmm.
They are bawling over Denimbola leaving, which is really, you know, nothing's better than to have the respect and love of your fellow contestants. How are you feeling? This was your girl. You wanted her to go all the
Yeah.
way, Evan.
I am sad. I think she really had it. Again, I love my fucking weirdo queens. This has been known throughout the whole time, and she was doing well as a weirdo queen. She
She
was actually
was.
pulling out something. So, especially after, one win already under her belt, it just felt sad too. And now it's like we're losing queens that I want to win the season right now. Because as at this point I have to have all my eggs in the Team Daphne basket. Truth be told, like I'm just so on board with her. I still want to see what happens, although the preview makes it seem like next week something might happen. I'm not sure if they're going to try and do a Club
Mm.
69 thing. We will see. But it'll work out. I was still sad. She had a very lovely parting moment in the workroom when she was doing her mirror message and all. But yeah, just sad. Just overall, just sad. But it's what happens. It's not
I
personal. It's drag.
think I think you can guarantee that the next time they do Drag Race España All Stars, that Denimbola will be asked to come back.
Has to be. Has to be.
Has to be.
Absolutely. I will be surprised. But listen, I might be pinning a lot of my hopes on Daphne. She still had a weird episode, truth be told, in kind of the long run of things. Greg, who do you think is going to be winning this season of Drag Race España?
I mean, I think the writing's on the wall that it is Satin Greco. Like,
Hmm.
I think Satin has gotten much more steady over the past couple episodes and has not only won, but she's been high. And it's starting she's getting so comfortable in the show that it's starting to become a little easy for her. Like she hasn't
Hmm.
really, I don't know where else she could stumble. We've got makeover, no doubt, coming up. We'll have a
Hmm.
roast potentially. Whatever this Club 69 thing, maybe she stumbles there, like whatever antique. I sort of confused of what they're doing next week.
Yeah.
But and then if there's a lip sync perform, I mean, if they do a music video or whatever, maybe that's a problem for her. We'll find out. But to me, it's Satin Greco. She's sort of like going towards the top for me. How about you?
I mean, there's no way she's not going to be in the top four. That's just unmistakable. Now, again, they don't always honor the eldest queen on there, but we
No,
know with the hobbies when they love someone, they love someone.
they love
Sometimes
someone.
it'll end up like a Kelly Roller, sometimes it'll end up like a Sharon. You just never know in those situations. But
Not
either
putting Kelly Roller in the same sentence
they love
with
her.
Satin Greco.
They brought her back and they loved her. Listen, you either live long enough to become a Kelly Roller or you die before you become a Sharon. Isn't that the Batman quote? I can't remember. It's one of those. Either
I love
way.
that quote. I'm going to use that from now on. You
That's
there.
going to be the next piece of merch. So that's what the hobbies are going to be consoling Satin Greco about. That'll be the quote that goes right above it. This is great merch, y'all. Most
Great
critically,
merch.
though, Thank you all so much for listening to us. We really do appreciate it. And as always, we are doing this and our UK coverage at the same time. We just recorded our Canada Meet the Queens too. Check out all that stuff. As always, leave us a review where you do. It seems like a simple thing, but it actually does help with the discoverability of the show. That's
Yep.
how we've been able to build our audience. That's why we have the audience that we have now, and we'd love it for it to keep growing through your help. So please do that, and also follow us on Instagram. Follow us on Bluesky. We post stuff there on most occasions. And most critically, we appreciate every single one of you. Greg, any last minute words before we say goodnight to this wonderful episode?
Viva la France. No, I'm sorry.
Whoa, oh,
Viva,
no.
Viva, Viva la Mexico. Oh no, sorry. We love Drag Race España, and
We love Drag Race
I
Japan.
can't wait for Satin Greco to be crowned.
Yes.
But join us next week
Put
because
your
it's
bets
get
now.
place your bets
Yeah.
now. Join us next week. It's been fun.
Yeah, absolutely. And with that said, we will see you there. Take care, everyone. Talk to you soon. Goodbye.